Good morning, everybody. Oh, come on, you can do better than that. I had to get up early from Northern Virginia to be with you. Good morning. I mean, you are our future, so if you're not fired up, I don't know what's going to happen. Admiral, thank you for that great introduction. Give him a great round of applause if you could. And Janine, I thank you for putting this conference together. It's an honor. It's exciting for me to be with you. I got to tell you, innovation, what we are doing here in the Commonwealth of Virginia, growing, diversifying our economy, building what I constantly call the new Virginia economy. And folks in this room, you are really at the forefront of that. You're going to determine those jobs that we have here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. It's important. You're at the innovation. You're at the crux of it, modeling, simulation. That's how we grow and diversify our economy. We have to do it. You've all heard me talk a lot about we do face some big headwinds here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Virginia is the #1 recipient of Department of Defense dollars. That is terrific news. When DOD is spending money, but when they're cutting back, has a dramatic impact. Just in the last 3 years, in 10, 11, and 12, we saw about $10.8 billion of defense cuts, mostly to Northern Virginia. George Mason University said that could equate to about 154,000 jobs lost. And then, as we all know, October 1 is the big day with sequestration. Don't know what's going to happen. I do hope that this dysfunctional Congress will get their act together and it doesn't happen. But if we were to have the effects of sequestration, dramatic impact on us. We obviously have the largest naval base in the world. We have military assets, the Department of Defense, we've got Pentagon, we got Quantico, we have CIA. So my whole emphasis has been making Virginia less reliant on the federal government and more reliant on those new 21st century technologies, which is exactly what the folks in this room are all about. So I thank you for the work that you've done. More importantly, I thank you for the work that you are going to do to help us grow and diversify the economy. I'm proud to say we've had a great role in the last 14 months in my administration. We have done about $6.3 billion of direct investment into the Commonwealth of Virginia. That is a record of almost 3 times of any governor in the history of our great Commonwealth. Just warming up, we have done 354 economic development deals from all over the globe. Virginia received more economic investment from China last year than any state in the United States of America, which is really astounding. Over $3 billion we brought back, all different types of businesses. I went to China myself twice, and Korea and Japan. China's made a strategic decision. They want to invest about $35 billion in the United States of America over the next 5 years. I just met with the finance minister the other day of Qatar. They just announced they're going to invest $25 billion here in the United States over the next 5 years. I think because of the strength of our dollar, they've decided to invest here in this great country. And folks, if they're coming to America, I, of course, want them to come to the Commonwealth of Virginia. There really is only one state in the United States of America, and that is Virginia. So we are on a roll doing the best we can to bring those jobs in. But our high-tech industry, modeling, simulation are really at the foundation. As you know, Virginia is home to more than 17,300 high-tech businesses. Virginia's technology industry employs more than 285,000 people. Which is truly astounding. The Commonwealth ranks at the top of the nation, #1 in America, with the highest concentration of technology workers. That is 1 for every 10 private sector jobs that we have here in Virginia is in the technology space. And I can tell you, as someone who spends his entire day traveling around the globe and the nation to recruit businesses here, that is such a huge selling point for us. Huge, huge opportunity for us to bring those jobs here to the Commonwealth of Virginia. It's no coincidence that in 2014, Virginia had the 3rd highest percentage of firms of all 50 states of the nation's fastest 500 growing companies. Another great statistic, and it makes sense that the IT and Innovation Foundation ranks Virginia among the nation's best globalized, entrepreneurial, and IT-driven innovation-based economies. We have, I think, as you all know, a very diverse, resilient, cutting-edge economy. We have the best entrepreneurs. We have the best innovators, educators, and business leaders. That's great, but we all want more. So successful strategies for encouraging innovation and economic development, as you know, require a tremendous amount of planning. And I know that Karen Jackson, Secretary of Technology, was with you last year. Planning is something we are doing a lot. Because of the federal cuts, we've elevated the need for a very sophisticated, forward-looking economic strategic plan that will drive Virginia's policies, our infrastructure investments, our research funding, and our risk-sharing partnerships. My new Virginia Economic Strategic Plan that I laid out last year isn't driven by ideology, but driven by pragmatism, and we are putting together the best practices in place. I get out of bed every day, folks, trying to figure out how I beat those other 49 governors and those 200 nations around the globe. We have all the assets here. I make the point, we have very low taxes. We have very business-friendly regulations. We have all the defense assets. We have some of the greatest universities in the world. We have a great infrastructure. And putting that all together with the work that you're doing in modeling and simulation, honestly, I don't think there's anybody in the globe who can compete with us. Here in the Hampton Roads region, what I always say to the folks, if Hampton Roads region acts as a region, not individually with all the different communities, I think it's such a powerful force for us to recruit those jobs of the 21st century. I mentioned we have about 6.3 billion deals already done. I have close to $4 billion in the pipeline of deals I'm trying to close in the next 16 months. If we can pull that off, no other state in America has been able to do it. But I view the folks in this room as the ones who are going to help me be able to pull that off for that new Virginia economy. I have 5 strategic priorities for my business plan: ensuring a healthy pro-business climate. As I say, low taxes. We haven't changed our taxes in 27 years. We're not going to change them. I continually make the argument that we need Virginia to be open and welcoming to everyone. As you know, the state of Indiana had a little trouble last week. They passed a Religious Freedom Act that basically discouraged certain individuals, members of the LGBT community. And as you probably have seen, their biggest corporations, 2 of them yesterday announced that they're looking to leave the state. One of them announced that another company that they're going to stop all their expansion plans. So, you know, I got to do what I got to do. If you pick up the Indianapolis Star today, there is a big, huge letter from the governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia. If you don't like where you are, we want you to come to Virginia. We are open and welcoming to everybody. And that's what you have to do as governor. So I don't like to take jobs from my fellow governors. I really don't. If I can get jobs from around the globe. But listen, if you give me an opportunity, I'm going to go get it. I just had a big win the other day. The Bechtel Corporation has just announced they're moving out of Maryland. They're coming over here to the Commonwealth of Virginia. 800 very high-paid jobs. But my point is we have to be open and welcoming to everybody. Our business climate is great. We have a world-class infrastructure. Folks, we're making tremendous efforts on our transportation. I've talked constantly how we have to open up our port. We have the deepest port on the East Coast here, as you know. Next year, the post-Panamax ships are going to come around. Today, there is only one port they can come to on the East Coast. That's our port right here. And I want to thank the port folks who are part of this conference here today. So we have an advantage. We've got a couple-year advantage. New York they can't go down because they're at the bedrock of Earth. They are going up. They are raising the Tappan Zee Bridge. These ships are enormous. 8, 10, 12, 14,000 TEUs. Right now, they can only come to Virginia because of our deep port. Huge advantage for us. But the key is we all know we've got to get the goods from the dock to the commerce of America, and we have gridlock on our roads. So I've invested millions of dollars to unlock our port. We've made great progress. For all of you who travel on our roads constantly, I've just announced we're adding new lanes from Richmond to Hampton Roads on 64 to make your life a little bit easier here. I know that will be a big delight. I can tell you, having lived in Northern Virginia for several decades, you like to come down to visit Virginia Beach in the summer. You leave McLean, Virginia. You go 495, 95, 64, 5 kids, 2 dogs, a wife. Traffic is brutal. They're all barking, wife included. Next year, I realize that people are going to go up to Hershey Park. They're going to go north. So opening up our beautiful assets like Virginia Beach, opening up our port. So the infrastructure, I've just announced Northern Virginia, new lanes on 66, which is the most congested highway in the United States of America. So we're making great progress on that. We're focused on fast-growing emerging sectors. We're becoming the go-to state for the best and brightest leaders. We're building a workforce capable of meeting the needs of businesses and industries. And at the end of the day, folks, that's the whole issue. Workforce development. We just passed many pieces of legislation for our workforce development. Every governor struggles with this. It's our biggest challenge. I do believe with the legislation we just passed last month that we have put Virginia at the forefront of workforce development. It was an arcane system. Federal money, state money, local money. Nobody knew how the money was being spent, and I always viewed millions of dollars were being wasted on workforce development. So we have streamlined our whole workforce development. I'm focusing on our veterans. We need to take our veterans who have served their time, and when they go into civilian life, we need to move them right into the workforce. They've already had a great education. We've already spent millions on it. Why do we tie them up in an education system where they're not getting new skills? So credentialing, apprenticeships, moving our veterans forward. I've also just announced that Virginia will be the first state in America to end veteran homelessness in their state. This is quite an accomplishment for the Commonwealth of Virginia. Thank you, sir, for that. Also, I've invested time to make sure that we have money in the Governor's Opportunity Fund for those that follow the Virginia legislature. This was one of the biggest fights I had. They didn't want to invest in the Governor's Opportunity Fund. Can't do business if we don't offer some incentives. Now, Virginia will never be at the top of a list of incentives to bring business. At the end of the day, if Texas wants a deal, Texas will get a deal. They'll put whatever money it takes to get it. We don't need that because we have so many other assets. But I'm so happy that at the end of the day, the legislature fully funded the Governor's Opportunity Fund to the tune of about $27 million that they added to allow us to go out and incentivize projects to come in so that we can be competitive. I'm also proud to announce that we just extended the capital gains incentive for investors who are providing support. If you are in the technology business, we have a capital gains incentive for you. We need to fully fund the tax incentives that encourages growth in the simulation and modeling sectors. Nothing moves forward without investment. I am a lifelong business person. I started my first business when I was 14. My folks couldn't afford to send me to college. I've started over 30 businesses in many different sectors. Was our nation's youngest bank chairman at the age of 30. I, like many of you, are entrepreneurial. You understand the ups and downs of businesses. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But you're in that arena, and you're not going to get ahead if you're not in that arena and you try. And if you fail, guess what? You get yourself up the next day, dust yourself off, and move back in it. And I know that I speak for so many folks in this room. I actually ran for governor in 2009. I ran on a platform of big ideas, wind turbines, renewable energy, high-speed rail. And I said, if you don't like my big ideas, don't vote for me. And you didn't. That's all right. I had a good time. But I got out of bed the next day, dusted myself off, and got right back at it. And I know so many folks in this room do the same thing. So it's important that we support the entrepreneur and the businessman here in women in the Commonwealth. I also want to announce that we have increased the funding for our Virginia R&D tax credit, which will stimulate innovation by helping long-term, big-term bets in the pursuit of transformative technologies. We just took that funding level to a whole new level. I also want to announce that we just added funding to the Virginia's R&D tax credit, which, as you know, in Virginia is refundable. We're one of the few states in America that actually has a refundable R&D tax credit. If your company is not profitable otherwise, or you owe no tax, then you get a refund, folks, actually in cash. Very few states offer that. We also have among the nation's best angel investor tax credit. We have a 50% leverage on the first $50,000, which, as you know, will provide you with an immediate return on your investment. Very few other states have that. We also have a great gap funding program that invests in companies with high potential for achieving rapid growth and economic return, and we have identified modeling and simulation as one of those high growth sectors. This program includes also a facilities enhancement loan program, which I would ask all of you to look at, because we've just put millions of dollars into that to help finance and upgrade facilities where you are actually commercializing your research and new technologies. Modeling and simulation offers many opportunities to strengthen partnerships with Virginia's military assets. I think we have the best opportunity because of the great relationship we have with the military. Also, modeling and simulation for healthcare, advanced manufacturing, transportation, and energy are equally as important. The one thing I do want to stress today is something I have been focused on, like a laser from day one, is cybersecurity. I tell every young person that I meet, every school I go to, take a cybersecurity course. This is the one area that the federal government is going to spend billions and billions of dollars on. There are going to be fortunes made in cybersecurity. We have some tremendous cybersecurity assets here in the Commonwealth of Virginia, but we are in a great battle today. The White House, in the President's budget, proposed about $244 million, and the Congress has just passed this in the omnibus bill. They are going to build a federal cyber campus. They are going to pick one state to put this cyber campus in. And they're going to take the military, defense assets, and they're going to build a specific site to bring our defense and intelligence related cyber assets into one facility. So I am on a mission to make, there should be only one place in America that that cyber campus should go. That, of course, should be here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. I have personally, to the point that the President of the United States, when he sees me coming, he runs the other way. He is sick of hearing from me about why Virginia should get the cyber campus. But seriously, folks, I think we have a very good shot at getting this. We'll know in a couple months. If we get that, this will put Virginia at the top of the nation and a global leader, because it's not only the cyber campus, but with that comes all the private sector that will be around it. So I may call on some of you to assist, but this is a big, big deal. Politicians like to talk about game changers. This truly is, if Virginia is designated as the home of the new federal cybersecurity campus. And I feel very confident we're going to get it, but you know, until we get it, we don't get it. As you know, cybersecurity is the defining threat for the 21st century. There are 3 billion internet users and 10 billion internet devices. As you just saw, it affects everybody, the state government. We had 100 million attempted attacks on us just in the Commonwealth last year. It happens every single day to us. It happens to the private sector. As you know, Anthem saw their data taken. I have 110,000 state workers that saw their records potentially compromised. There are over 80 million in the country, so this is a huge opportunity for us. The other final area I would like to mention is unmanned aerial aviation. What we can do in that is spectacular. Virginia is one of the 5 states that has been designated a federal workforce center for the new, quote, drones, the new unmanned aerial. Tremendous opportunity. Cyber and the unmanned aerial opportunities for us here in Virginia are second to none, and you all in modeling and simulation. So I'm just trying to give you some ideas of how you can make more money. If you're making money, I'm making money. I think that's great. So I want to see all of you tremendously successful. So the next 2 years, we got to be big and bold. I do think we'll have some major announcements here in the Commonwealth of Virginia to take Virginia to the forefront on cyber, on modeling and simulation. So I am very excited about what we have at the forefront. We're doing great. We're leading the nation on job growth. I just announced the lowest unemployment in 10 years here in the Commonwealth, 4.7%. We got to get it lower. We got to create more jobs. But I can tell you, as a father of 5 children, I want to make sure that when my children all graduate, that they stay here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. They're going to stay here if we have those 21st century jobs, and those 21st century jobs are what all of you in this audience are doing in modeling and simulation. So I thank you for what you're doing for the Commonwealth. I'm glad that Janine and others invited me down here today. Folks, you are the future of the Commonwealth of Virginia. So when I go to bed, I think of Patrick Henry, Thomas Jefferson, modeling and simulation. Those are the things I think about. Thank you very much, everybody.